Good evening, and thanks for joining me in the debate tonight. And Binghamton Elizabeth Gellis, thanks for being on the affirmative, and Carlos Varela, thanks for judging this debate. And let's begin. My value is activism, which is defined as being involved in world affairs. Criterion nirvana is a state of peace where affecting things we can change. Framework interpretation: United States federal government is the people. Perkel no day. The government has three branches: legislative, executive branch, and judicial branch. But the government is the people. Violation: the affirmative defense a hypothetical ban of animal testing by bureaucracies in Washington D.C. Not individual agency. Vote neg limits the shifting discussion from a level of communities and individualized to Washington D.C. creates thousands of unpredictable policy changes in abstract legislative processes that become undebatable. 2. Ground. They make us debate in a world in which we compare bureaucratic policy instead of individual agency that turns to the spectators. Mitchell 95. Fiat gives debaters simply the political control of external actors, coaches students with gloss of consideration of roles as involved agents in the controversy they research, serves as political scrubs by leaving the burden that demonstrates the connection between in-round advocacy and their action of the external actors defending the plan or campaign mandates. 3. Voter for education, competing interpretation of the good we should debate would be holistically good for debate, not what's good in this debate. Their interpretation arbitrary and self-serving. 4. This thought process we can affect circumstances we have no control over leads to endless suffering as we constantly argue with reality and try to recreate our own realities. KD2. Behind every comfortable feeling there's a thought that isn't truth for us, rather to understand the original cause of thought. We try to change our stressful feeling by looking outside ourselves. Any stressful feeling is compassion, alarm, that says you're caught in a dream. It hurts worse than you can be able to tell you who are to live any story other than happiness. Put your head in the fire. Does anyone tell you if to move it? You don't have to direct the hand moves by itself. In the same way, once you understand through inquiry the true thought causes suffering, then you move away from it. Once recognized as suffering becomes to unravel on its own. 5. The mistake is not the policy, but the framework in which it is justified. Embracing a deep ecological, ethical framework is prerequisite to effective policy making. Shelley 93. The mistake to the policy itself with the anthropogenic instrumental framework is justified policy decisions must be merely concerned with the trade-off in comparison to various human benefits. Preservation policy be justified with the loss of equity. You must reject the anthropogenic instrumental framework for policy decision with this perspective. The question of the trade-off in comparison to human benefits, the question of justice for the specific human population do not dominate the discussion when a non-anthropogenic framework is introduced. It creates a more complex situation for deliberation and resolution. If they reject the ecological normative framework, the anthropogenic instrumental rationality of set of obligation directed to nature, its own right, and many questions of human benefits and satisfaction irrelevant. The value political action. Here's the litmus test. If the affirmative has to prove that she is able to influence politics in order for her to be able to win, talking about the political action of others takes away from the inherent education debate. The judge should vote for whatever team creates the most real change world against anthropocentric. Next argument. I support the entirety of the 1AC and Speech Act stands of viewing life as property. The emphasis that animal testing is wrong because the ineffective makes animals feel pain. However, she justifies saying that if it weren't for the case of BLK, look to her case, she wants to stop the failing test to stop hurting humans, completely disregarding that animals are equal to humans in every aspect. She, however, doesn't specify where animals will go or what animal testing is besides cosmetics and pain definitions. Testing that requires the use of animal cord PETA animal-based technology is conditioned for governments of importation and sale of pesticides, industrial chemicals, drugs, vaccines, genetically manipulated foods, and substitute products banned according to Oxford Dictionary means illegally prohibited use in the animal testing according to American Anti-Vivisection Study or damage and direct effect from the application, toxicity, pharmacokinetics, metabolism, mutagenicity, carcinogenicity, and pyrogenicity. The resolution of animal testing proves that animals are no more than objects to which to test and try scientific and economic consequences on to determine the effects of no ethical dilemma. My plan envelops hers and stops all versions of testing that are politically defined. Viewing animals as property is intrinsically wrong and must be rejected in every instance. Tifa Barnett, University of California, Santa Barbara 2. Animals are not things the legal system that treats them as intrinsically flawed. None of the center of the attention squarely on the human psychological conceptual frameworks that are friendly brought into play. Legislation in the common law, the products of human activity that beat the unavoidable imprint of human intellect labels something as property as the entity so labels possesses no interest in merit protection, the means within determined by the property owner. This justification allows for all those who cannot communicate in the way that we wish to be repressed. All forms of exclusion are patterned off the human non-human divide to normalize the anthropogenic order. They critically challenge the endless war on difference. Tark, Kochi, Sussex Law School 2-9. The violence and killing the species world, the playing out the U.S. the distinction of the hierarchy that's the extension of the original human-animal distinction thought to follow the human-animal distinction of the Hellenes, barbarians are Europeans, Orientals, whites, blacks, civilized, and civilized Nazis, Jews, Israel, Arabs, colonized. These practices and regimes have been normalized in a manner which replicates the normalization of violence carried about the non-human animals. Challenging the form of violence is one of the ongoing tasks of any critic. Case. The affirmatives failed to provide any way to evaluate this round. Means the only fair way to us to evaluate the rounds for the negative to choose the negative is choose speeches allowing for the affirmative introduce new values in the 2AC creates an unfair advantage for the affirmative. The affirmative is bad on a few levels. First, the reason that we can't given why the testing is bad is more to the fact that the results are being skewed due to poor condition, not because the animals themselves should not be tested on. It also relies on the assumption that other forms of life are not as qualified but are only capable of feeling pain, which is the reason to reject the testing. She says that animal testing should be used when using human subjects to be immoral. This, however, justifies harm to mentally handicapped persons. Tom Reagan, professor at North Carolina State University 1. What could be the basis of a more inherent value to humans is not the truth that human subjects of life have simply less mental capacity, the ability that's normally to have less inherent value than we do, are not the natural slaves of us who do. They're more fortunate when it comes to innate intelligence. Second, the affirmative ignores testing that would alter mood and metabolism levels in other ways that would irritate and harm the individuals. Applying to embryos, Department of Pediatrics, University of Arkansas Medical Sciences, R. Hall. Embryos can feel pain and have consciousness not unlike that of a mentally handicapped person. Making an embryo feel discomfort and pain is not unlike doing the same thing to another organism. However, this is the double blind. Either the embryos aren't formed and not a viable alternative to animal testing, or they are formed and can feel pain as they are fully alive. And the same applies to in vitro, as a simple tissue sample cannot tell us what effect it would have on the entire system. Have to be torn out of the organism. Third, the affirmative is only against plans that exploit animals, leaving other tests intact, showing the inherent discrepancy in the justification of society. This time back to my critique of anthropocentrism. The anthropogenic diffshore shows that they treat animals set the ethical ways long that will stop progress for humans. The humans aren't exploited, being defined as unethical under the affirmative case will allow for all problems. And the second point, you should reject the affirmative case to correct a ballot for a vehicle to deconstruct anthropocentrism. Fourth, the affirmative says that human trials are possibility with the introduction to embryos. There's no test that requires the use of animals, meaning that it fails the basic test of the resolution. Vote for the neg. Okay, I'm done. Have fun, and thanks for joining me in the debate.